Look, I think Mothersbabies is an organisation that strives to empower women and to educate them. So for me, that's my ethos of my life, and that's what I do in my clinical practice as well. So to be offered to be part of, or invited to be part of the Mothersbabies kind of movement and creation of information sharing for women and the community more generally speaking, I feel like it's a bit of a privilege to be in that position and to have had the basic science and clinical background to offer some support and advice along the way.
Mothersbabies for me is, look, it's that wish list of what you want as a clinician and as a researcher. So as a researcher, I'm always sort of looking at options of my next steps after PhD, and I'm hoping that I can weave in some other research in that context. But certainly as a clinician, Mothersbabies to me is the opportunity of looking at the Australian population. We've got so much data from around the world, but we know Australian soil is very, very different, and we know that the population is very different. And it's about funding and research and moving efficacy and evidence towards how we can actually help women and how we can help the next generation, and the connection with that means so much to me.
My firstborn had a whole range of gut issues when he was born. He had something called FPIES, which is food protein induced enterocolitis. So we really did a lot of gut work on him. And yeah, I'm just really passionate about helping women to achieve their best health, but also the best health outcomes for their children. So it can be a nice, easy, enjoyable ride for everyone without having to deal with chronic health issues or gut abnormalities and chronic health issues ultimately.
This is important because it affects health. It affects mother's health. It affects the baby's health. The problems that we're seeing with this inflammatory march, with some inflammatory disease, we think it's generational problems. This has been creeping up over the generations. It's not a new thing, but it's become an issue, and it's becoming more and more of an issue. We don't completely understand it, so we have to research it to try and find out more about it. As we find out more about it, how we affect change, how we can change it, a key part is education. And I think that's where mothers and babies can really come in. They can provide that education, that important understanding of what diet and environment and other sorts of things, how that's affecting the mother and how it's affecting the baby, and how you can positively affect it for both your and your infant's health.
I think the drawcard to come and talk at Mothersbabies about the microbiome and the importance around pregnancy and childbirth is that it has repercussions that go way beyond today. It's just it's not something that has been talked about a lot. There's a lot of talk about how pregnant women shouldn't eat certain things that can make them sick. So a lot about the disease process, but not about embellishing their own immunity, feeding their immune system, looking after their body, but which not only feeds them, but it, obviously feeds their child and gives them the best start that they can. It's not a guarantee of perfect health for anybody just eating well, but it's not a bad start, and it's something we can all control.